insisting no fake fertilizer. In fact, the closest you've come is saying that a bit of it was soil conditioner. And actually, the government spokesperson has said that what came from GPC, SBL Innovate, was a soil conditioner. Do you agree with those sentiments?
You see, Sam, there are two products out there.
Yeah.
And that's why I like discussing a product by itself, because the composition or what is meant supposed to do is completely different. So the GPC story revolves around a product that was presented for certification, which was satisfied by standards of KEBS as a soil conditioner. And that is what GPC was supposed to take into the market. But what we've come later to realize is that the product certified that time is not the product that is in the market. So the product...
When did you realize that?
When this story came around. That's what by the way, on Tuesday, when I appeared before the Senate committee, the National Assembly,
right,
is when I saw that back for the first time. Because I dismissed it. I could not even imagine that it was even possible. But you know, I have said very clearly that the fertilizer people are referring to is not the fertilizer that I'm distributing within the subsidy program. And even when we want today, and that's why I'm saying the burden on... It's not that easy to know who really brought into this system easily, because like today, remember, the fertilizer that was being shown on social media flying out in videos was a product that was also distributed on board by the Kakamega County. Okay. Right?
Let's move...
so you are making me like a monopolist of the fertilizer business.
Let's move systematically. Of course, you are not a monopoly. You're the Minister of Agriculture, the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. And you're saying that you had dismissed the story the first time it came in as a sense of accountability to the people of Kenya whom you are sworn in to serve. Is it fair for you to take a position without even testing?
I will not take a position what I'm telling you, because I am taking all the necessary measures to ensure that our fertilizer within the program that we are running was properly insulated against interference. And in terms of standard, in terms of meeting specs that were agreed between NCPB and the suppliers. And if you have also listened to me, because the tender of the work, the award to those people was given all the way in December. I personally, on the 20th of December, did direct that test analysis be done and be supplied to NCPB before supply. So that if there was any question on quality, then we would still retest what was in the market vis-a-vis or against what the test certificates on composition that was applied or given in December.
And that is why I'm asking,
supply.
Is it accountability? Is it responsible for a cabinet secretary to take a position against what farmers have complained about what journalism has produced in this country without even getting the facts?
If you want to check your record, I never said at any one particular time that the allegations are not true. I never. I've consistently maintained that the fertilizer I am doing, including the one that we are discussing on the 10-26-10, is not fake. That is what I've insisted throughout. And is what I've insisted, the standards are the ones that fall short of the Kenyan standard.
You have insisted, but you have also said that the story about fake fertilizers coming from Azimio, you have called journalists crooks.
I did not. Let me tell you. I have insisted, and I said, you know, we have run a very successful program. And even last year I have said, when we went out giving fertilizer, there was opposition because farmers knew the only fertilizer you can give is DAP, which and which we wanted to correct because of his ability to really identify ourselves. So when we have run such a nice program, we have been able to see its results, increase the production. When you look at the people that are really talking about fake, and people do not really want us to discuss about the levels of standard.
Right.
Of course, from a political point of view, you would know that always those people that have never wished you well, or this administration, or the program, or those that we have to go back to the farms to really assist us produce enough food for this country, dismissed us and were busy demonstrating. And so that is the advice I cannot easily take,
right, because
they are not the best people to advise us. But whenever they say is what we will pick it and try to countercheck. And that is why you find now that even the cabinet, in my PS, when there was this matter arose, when I was out, he really acted with a lot of speed to say, please hold on. And we want to hold on because we want to confirm whether the argument out there is correct or not. That was a measure of diligence that the ministry was taking.
And your principal secretary has found that indeed there are certain products by Kell Chemicals that are not meeting the standards. So the question I'm asking, now that you know what you know, do you think you are right to make the comments that you made, that these were claims by your political detractors as well as crook journalists?
My position will not change when it comes to issues of saying that the fertilizer is not fake. I would want you to play a clip.
Please respond to my
saying
so that you make
where I said, I said if there is an irresponsible journalist, I specifically said what was run on, I don't know what it is called.
African Censored.
African Censored is not anything that I want to take seriously because I've never taken him to be responsible. And that is with...
And now, what have you found?
You must look at character. And I'm saying that this is not the first time he has run. And even last time, he ran another one.
Waziri, which I would be breaking the law to speak about the character of someone who is not here. So let's focus on the GPC product that was featured on African Censored versus what you, as a Minister of Agriculture, has found out about that fertilizer. Do you think that was crooked journalism or it was the right thing that you
see? Even responsible journalism will require that before you do it, get a clarification from the ministry to really to understand exactly what is happening. So when you run a story without hearing our side, it's all condemning us an end. And there is every reason for one also to say, no, this is not fair. So from what yesterday, because on Monday I appeared before the committee, that is the first time I saw that bag.
So why would you comment about something you haven't seen?
And it's because there is no single time when I inquired from my officers at NSPB that we were doing a fertilizer called GPC. It is not on any of our records. So
let me ask you this.
So when the information I got, and I even asked the contracts for the contracts that were signed, was on a contract for a soil conditioner. A soil conditioner's contract, it was entered even before this administration came into office on the 31st of March 2022. So I was right to say there is no fake fertilizer. It is not possible because in my mind and the records show that the engagement and the agreement between NSPB and the GPC guys is not on fertilizer. But when the bag was presented to me, I was really shocked because the bag was labeled fertilizer.
And it is not.
And it is not.
So what is it?
So it's a crook. That's what I am saying.
Who? The journalist?
The fellow who decided to cheat on the farmers' confidence in our system, in our infrastructure, and supply the wrong thing.
And the cabinet secretary did not detect that with your system. Is there a system that does monitoring and evaluation of what is in the market?
You see, Sam, you see, unless a matter is brought to your attention, by who? And by any officer, anybody in the public.
But you dismissed the story.
Anybody. So, you dismiss a statement depending, and I have sent on how it's also brought. Because I've told you responsible journalism will require, if you have a story on me, please check the facts, try and also make me aware so that you can also hear my comments. So if I have some history about you or about how you conduct your investigation and story, so how do you want me to take you seriously? I'm telling you,
yep.
because you know I really respect journalism.
Right.
And I know the power of the media.
Right.
But I also say, you know that because you have the power of the media, you must also exercise that authority responsibly,
right?
Because it is not fair.
So tell me, is it your statement that it is not possible for the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture to assess what is being distributed in the market for purposes of agriculture?
You see, let me tell you, depending on the context, that we must look at this matter in the context that we are discussing this story. When we got to know about it, we have gone out there and we have established that yes, there is a product. We've managed to do it. It is within us to be able to check when there is a report. But without any report, it's just like you won't tell me the police can move to swift into action to rescue somebody who is under siege without information. Okay. So when we got the information, we've done what we've been able to manage up to now. They have sent
but was it sounded like your peers and yourself were reading from different scripts, because on the day that both of you spoke, the Principal Secretary wrote a letter saying that investigations need to be carried out on the said fertilizer. Yourself, you are busy saying that there's no fake fertilizer in the country. Why isn't there united or union, what is it, a single source of communication through the ministry?
You see, depending on what matter we want to address, you look at the agency. And in that circumstances, be able to respond accordingly depending on what matter that you want to address. So if, like, for example, they were last week out of the country, and where I was, there was no network, you can't reach me. Any responsible officer within my ministry, I would better take responsibility of somebody making a decision to stop distribution of a fertilizer so that it doesn't get to many people than none who waits for me to come and make a decision and then let many farmers get exposed.
So tell me, Waziri, how many bags are in question here?
3,000.
The Deputy President spoke about 50,000.
So that is your one, because I don't know. I am telling you, we have an e-voucher system that we use, and anybody who picks fertilizer within our stores, we will trace you to the time, to the store that you took. And I'm happy you've even brought a story here about the recall of Benylin. Because, and this one, we should use it even for Kenyans to really listen and understand the issue we are discussing. Because the fertilizer that was being supplied was okay. The only problem arises out of a certain batch. And this batch is known. And where the fertilizer has been distributed to is known.
So this is,
and that's why we
3,000 of what fertilizer?
The Carol fertilizer, right? The 10-26-10.
Yeah.
Right? That is what is not meeting the standards. And we have called on farmers to return that fertilizer.
So where did the Deputy President get that figure from, 50,000? Because he spoke in Rwanda, in Kigali, and he said the 50,000 bags are the only ones that are in question.
You know, the Deputy President is my boss.
Yeah.
And he can speak for himself.
So you don't know
I'm telling you about the figures that I am sure of.
Yeah.
The figures that we've been able to verify from my end. And in any case, I have not seen him speak. That is hearsay. So what you are telling me is something that I have not done. You are telling me I was in Kigali. When I was in Kigali,
I'll get you the clip of the Deputy President, then you tell me about it. But first, so what happens to these farmers that you say for
and
sure?
You see, let me tell you, Sam.
Yep.
Even if the Deputy President, for example, saying 50, he may have probably be referring to the total number of bags that were given or awarded to this farm to supply. But he may not I'm trying to not really trying to justify my what the fact that he's saying 50 and I'm saying 3, but I'm telling you, when you look at, for example, the first consignment to this contractor was 50, right? So when a whole manufacturer is condemned without really people exactly knowing, right, or like the details of the batch, people can easily be misquoted.
So that is the explanation between the different...
I have not heard, I have not seen, I have not even consulted.
Surely, you haven't heard what the Deputy President said?
By the way, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I am in business. In that ministry, it's so busy that you not even believe. The last time I read a newspaper. That's how busy it is. You've been looking for me to appear in these shows, and I'm not available because I'm running up and down, trying to fix. And
you're not concerned about the questions Kenyans are asking?
I am not seen in the office because I'm concerned about what Kenyans are saying. And because when I first of all got to know about it, I left Nairobi at 11, went to Olenguruni because there was in Nakuru, went to Sirikwa, went to Molo, and I went to 4 places.
Okay.
Was the same afternoon. And I asked the farmers to tell me whether there was any issue, and nobody
told
from that area.
Okay, all right. Waziri, so you speak about John Allan Namu, who now joins us live. John Allan, good evening. You've heard the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, what he has to say. Do you have any response?
Yes. He claims that we never reached out to the ministry. That's a lie. On the 15th of February this year, we reached out via the email. We reached out to one of his assistants, Dr. Marete. His ministry is the only government department that did not respond to our claim. So when he says that I am a crook and I am a liar, perhaps he should take a hard look in the mirror.
Wow. Cabinet Secretary, so he says that he actually reached out to the ministry 15th of February. You didn't see that communication?
The ministry is not me. Yeah? There are many people in the ministry. It should be saying sent to my email, to the office of the Cabinet Secretary, to the attention of my secretaries or my PA. That is how it would have gotten to me.
That is exactly what we did. If John Marat not in your office,
let him share the email,
to him directly.
The phone number of the people you got into.
What the minister is saying, is respect to his office. What the minister is saying is dishonest. And over the past few days, if people have been listening to the Senate hearings and to the parliamentary hearings about what's been happening, including his own statement about that fertilizer. Everything that we have been saying has been borne out by facts and by science. I don't know what right the minister has against me personally or against Africa Center, but the work that we have done is above board, it stands above board, and it will remain above board.
Right.
If he has things that can controvert what we are saying, let him table the evidence. It is his opportunity to do this. And finally, Sam, you must remember that it is in the public's interest that we are doing this work. I'm not doing this work because I have a personal gripe against CS Linturi. I do not know him from Adam. And again, if he has a personal gripe against me, he should take it up with me personally, not to try and mislead the nation in such a serious time.
All right, so Cabinet Secretary, I'm sure you're having challenges hearing John Allan, but what exactly he's talking about is that he did the due diligence of confirming and getting the side of your story from the ministry. So how should Kenyans who have questions about products in the agricultural sector, how are they supposed to deal with it if the Cabinet Secretary does not read newspapers, is busy, probably not available?
I have said the ministry is big, and any matter that is addressed to me, you can ask the donor community or anybody. Any matter that is addressed to me of national interest, of concern, I deal with it within 24 hours. This I am telling you because it's not one, it is not two. And it is, I would really have wanted, because I've told my officers, any matter that touches on issues to do with the public because of the respect I have for honor and the respect for these people, the people in this country and my oath of office, let the matter, what you can't handle. So let the matter come.
You say in 24 hours you do respond.
I do respond.
This took you more than 2 weeks.
I'm telling you, it was never brought to my attention, and that's why I'm challenging him to give us the phone number, the email address that is used, so that we can also try to check and know whether I'm or not.
John Allan, what are you saying?
Mr. Linturi is saying that it was not brought to his attention. It is not my responsibility, beyond reaching out via the official channels that we have done, to then take it to his office personally. He has official communication channels. We reached out via Kilimo. We spoke to Mr. Marete, who is in his office. We reached out. Our journalist, Ms. Hiri, wrote to him on the 15th of February this year. The story ran on the 10th of March. So this thing of saying that he was not served personally is not a personal. He's a cabinet secretary serving on behalf of the Republic of Kenya. He must remember that. And I'm taking very, very great exception to the fact that he keeps on dragging our name through the mud when it is us who have brought this issue to the attention of the public. Mr. Linturi, if he is what he is told as the cabinet secretary, must apologize to our organization and to the nation for doing something like this.
Okay, maybe you may respond so that we can move on.
I've not turned to what I'm responding to.
No, he's saying that you have been defaming the organization that he works with or he works for, which is unwarranted. He also says that the story that they run is not a personal interest, it's the question of public interest, which I believe you would be interested in.
Gituko, you know, I've just been making very fair comments. Right, about him and the people that he works around with.
Calling someone a crook is not fair.
Yeah, because you see, I don't think I'm telling you just show me I sin, but I am telling you the number of times that I've made reference to where he works or he works with is because this is not. He should also tell this the people of this country. This is not the first time he has written a story and a report like this on me, on issues that he never substantiated. I ran me and I kept quiet. I decided not even to go to court. So when I'm told he's done a story or these things, that I don't bother because I don't want to get to that history.
Okay.
Right? Because there's a different chapter I have started. So please understand, and what I'm saying is a fair comment I did. Right? So you must really understand where I am coming from.
Sorry, Jonathan, I want us to come to the end of this. What did you want to reply to?
Yeah. When Mr. Linturi is referencing stories that we have done about him before, again, these are based on evidence. If he bothered to look through the story, he would see that it was based on evidence that we found from the integrated financial management system about an issue of procurement of gold medals. While he was senator, there are companies that he owned or had a controlling interest in. We did our research. We did our work. We again did it in the public interest. He was the vice chair of the Senate Committee on Agriculture at the time that this was happening. So if he thinks that there's something personal I have against him, again, I do not know this person. I do not know him beyond the fact that he is a public officer. And again, if it is fair comment that he is speaking, if it is fair comment that he's saying that he has given, let him prove what it is about our story is crooked, what it is about me specifically that is crooked. We have courts of law that are both open to myself as well as to him. If he thinks that there is a personal issue between me and him. But again, Sam, this is a distraction. The thing about the fertilizer issue is it is a public interest issue, period.
All right.
Whether Sam he calls me a crook from sun up to sunset, he can continue doing it, but let him go before the public and make himself his ministry position clear about the issuance of fertilizer that is either substandard or fake, as we had shown in our documentary. That's it, Sam.
All right. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Let me say this.
Yes, your final word.
Because I don't want them to continue misleading the public. You know, it's just mentioned that I did work when I was the chair or the vice chair of the Agriculture Committee in Parliament. I have never served in a committee, in any committee of agriculture, either in the Senate or in the Assembly, of the National Assembly. And that is what he's repeating. That's what I'm saying. It's wrong, it's misleading.
What was your committee while at the Senate?
I sat in many. I was vice chair of public investment. In the National Assembly, I was the chair of Public Investment Committee.
Okay.
I sat in energy. I sat in legal affairs. So I sat in many committees.
Never in agriculture?
Never in agriculture.
Okay, all right. So, I want us to conclude this, but not long ago, I think it was sometime last year, there were donations of fertilizer to this country from Algeria as well as Russia. Where is that fertilizer?
Of course, the fertilizer. You remember that's why we've been able to really sustain and be able to use that to really supply our farmers with specific crop fertilizers is because we used that fertilizer to blend and make more bags of fertilizer that we have distributed to the farmers. We used it as a raw material so that we would be able to produce more, which we have really put through into the system and which farmers are enjoying.
How does that work? How many bags were there? From
no,
Algeria,
for instance? Not on bags. We don't bring bags. It's in tons.
Okay, so how many tons?
We use, I think we received like 8,000 tons, I think.
8,000 tons. This is from?
I think from Algeria, I say 8,000 tons. And I think, yeah.
And Russia?
That, I think, I may not really remember correctly, and because I don't want you to accuse me for misleading the public, but I can give you the figures tomorrow.
Okay,
but
so make me understand this, that the status of the collection of Algerian donated fertilizer material from bulk stream terminal in Mombasa to by farm contracted for blending at their respective factories. Maisha Minerals and Fertilizers Limited, quantity allocated was 160,000 50-kilogram bags. Intracom 4 Mil Limited, 160,000 50-kilogram bags. And the quantities collected are indicated. For the two farms, it was 184,000 bags. How do you translate those figures from 8,000 tons to this number of bags?
So let me put it clear, Sam, because that's a question that requires the actual numbers. But we asked the NSPB to pre-qualify people that would use that material and negotiate the pricing, the blending, so that they would produce more material. So this is information. It's not is public. Is public information which I can give, and the National Serious.
What do you mean, Waziri?
What
do you mean that?
I mean, this we got. No, I'm saying it's public information, which we can offer. So when we got the fertilizer, and we decided to make it as raw material for blending, so that when we produce more bags and crop specific. Remember, the parameters that we use to allocate or to make any fertilizer in the country depends on the soil standards that we have done. And different ecological zones do different crops. So when we want fertilizer to give to the cabbage farmers, to the potato, to the rice farmers, is different from what we use for coffee. Depending on the deficiencies of the soils in those particular areas. And because we have that history now when we got them, and we wanted to also extend the subsidy and support those farmers, then there was agreement that they are blended to specific for specific crops.
So you give it to
then
private entities to do the blending?
What we did, there was a tender that was done, so that they would pick people that have the capacity around to do the blending.
At what cost?
I mean, now, the costing, this is not a question I was really prepared for. It was not done at the ministry headquarters, but at least that process was done. We can give information if so required, but that process was done.
So who benefited then from the donation?
It is the farmer. It is not who benefited.
But you don't know the cost.
I am telling you, don't want me to take me to lying, because I'm telling you I'm not a procurement officer. Number two, this thing, we don't NSPB, because that is what they are doing to pre-qualify and get people that have capacity in town to blend the fertilizer for us. And then we'll be able to...
And how do they know that what they receive is the right quality?
You see... Sam, and this is why I'm saying this thing is more scientific than anything else to understand this story about this fertilizer. Any product that comes out of the country, at the point of entry, there are those agencies that do testing for conformity of standards. So any fertilizer that comes, for example, because this is specific fertilizer we are talking about, it will be tested by KEBS. The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service at the port of Mombasa will also test to see whether what we are getting as a donation or support is not radioactive material. So all these things were done.
I think what I'm asking, Waziri, is, so if donation comes,
Yes.
it is given to farms to blend. They blend, they supply to the NCPB. The NCPB sells to the farmers. Is there a way of NCPB knowing that what it's giving the farmers is of good quality?
Of course, when we've been given the product and it's supposed to be mixed with other with the other raw materials for blending, of course, it must be tested to see whether the. Remember, I'm saying the fertilizer is being blended for specific crops. So when the blending is done, of course, we must test.
So does NCPB know what the quality of what is in the stores?
No, you see, when you store, you become general. So I'm answering myself to that area of specific fertilizer, that material that was used to blend, So it was tested, it's known. But the National Cereals and Produce Board will always get to know how many fertilizer bags that they have within their system. So because our e-voucher system, they know the quantity. They know the quantity. Of course, they always know that the quality that they have is quality of good. Is a product of good quality, because before production or a manufacturer produces, is always it is expected, because it's certified by the standards body.
Don't you see there's a weakness there? Because 3,000 farmers, according to your figures, 50,000 according to the Deputy President, may have received fertilizer that is not as per what is indicated in the bag. Don't you see a weakness that NCPB is not playing a role, or maybe doesn't have a capacity to play a role, which now needs to happen?
But probably, this thing is also coming in. There are a few things we are learning from it. We may require to see and how to develop regulations to make it tighter. Because just like you are saying, yes, we have established that because we could have crooks out there that will take advantage of the standard mark they get after qualification and give us a banned product, then there is need for us to really have continuous testing.
Okay.
So this is our weakness, and probably by use of our cafe stores, Calro, or any others, we will see how to see so that at least.
Okay.
But then there's something else we must also do, is that these people that have done this, they must face the full force of the law. We must make sure that the most harsh terms, right, the law is limited on them, so that to deter people with this kind of habit.
Waziri, you must love the word crooks so much. You've used it several times on this show.
But that is crooks. You can't really take advantage of innocent people and a certification you have been given and produce the thing of the wrong quality. It is not right. It is being dishonest.
All right, Waziri. Thank you so much for making time for us of this conversation on tonight. And of course, Waziri Linturi tells me that he has to travel to Mombasa to receive a consignment of fertilizer. Where is it coming from? Which country is it coming from? He won't tell me. But anyway, we'll see in the news tomorrow. We'll take a short break. We're back with more on tonight.
Thank you so much.